Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Part 3 of the California versus Washington Merlot Challenge. I mentioned that October is National Merlot Month. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this. So yes, October is National Merlot Month. Maybe you guys get sick and tired of all these, national months, whatever it is, but it is National Merlot Month. There's a hashtag MerlotMe. I threw it in on a couple of these episodes just to bring attention to Merlot and the value that Merlot has in the wine world. It actually is the second most popular red grape next to Cabernet Sauvignon. We talked a lot about the demise of Merlot, possibly Sideways. The movie had something to do with it. But there's another reason. And I want to thank Mike Burns for making the comment, thinking that perhaps when I tasted the Duckhorn Merlot and it was just too acidic and out of balance, that could be a reason for the decline in Merlot sales. Well, Mike, I know that is not the exact reason, but you're getting close. You're getting warm. There's another reason, and I just read an article about that and confirmed what I had talked with a winemaker about. Why Merlot sales took a huge dip. They're starting to crawl back. It's still a very popular grape. And we are going to now go into the third episode of the California versus Washington Merlot Challenge. Number 1. It's exciting. That one, the first one, just blew me away. The color on this is dark, reddish dark. Sure. By the way, Merlot are red grapes. No pun intended. The skins are red. Let's see what we get on those. Ooh. A lot of spice, baking spice on the nose there. Blackberry for sure. I'm getting blackberry, dark cherries, and baking spice. Love the nose on this one. By the way, smelling wine is such a key part in tasting. If you have a really bad cold, you can't taste food. So try to include a little bit of a smelling of the wine, and you will increase your enjoyment of that wine. Seriously. A little tobacco coming through as well. Let's see what we get on the palate. Full body, nice texture in the mouth. The spice comes through on the back end. Big up front, you get blackberry, plum up front. Didn't get as much plum on the nose, but it's certainly coming through on the palate. There's some oak coming through on this one. Some oak tannins. It's had some good oak treatment. You know it has oak on it because of the spiciness. So wines get their tannin from the skins, the seeds, and the oak. That's where wine gets their tannins. If they don't have oak treatment, you're going to have less tannins. But this is a very, very well-made, rich Merlot. Nice balance. I think the oak is a little too dominant on the back of the mid-palate into the finish. Almost gives it a little bit of a bitter edge. However, that being said, with a little bit of food, you would lose that bitter edge. So, a little beef dish with this one would be perfect. I like this wine a lot. The blackberry plum notes are just dominant on this wine. Little touch of expansion on the mid palate. Like I said, in my opinion, and we all have different palates, a little too much oak on this one kind of dominates on the finish. Up front, really nice, good balance. Mid palate, good, solid wine, good tannins, soft up front, and then the tannins kick in, but they're mostly wood tannins. A little herbal component coming through as well, which is very common with Merlot. And that's sometimes in a blind tasting you have trouble between Merlot and Cab, because that herbal kind of green bell pepper thing can happen in both wines. I like this wine. The initial attack, especially up front, then it morphs into sort of an oak-driven wine, so that's a little off-putting for my palate. But still well made, still good. Nice, good, well-integrated acidity with this wine. We talked about that Merlots are not quite as acidy as some wines can be. Is that a word, acidy? So, yeah, I'm going to go, what am I going to do with this one? I like it, well made. I can tell this is probably an expensive, I don't know for sure. But because of that oak treatment, when you put that much oak on a wine, it's going to cost more. Because oak barrels cost money. You have to pass that on to the consumer. Yeah, I know where I'm going with this. There. Like I said, the only thing I think the oak is a little too strong on the finish in that wine. Let's move on. Ooh, number 2. This is fun. I mean, guys, this is fun. And very similar in color. This is really dark. Super. I can barely see through it with that white paper that's sitting to my right. Let's see what we get on the nose. Now this, talk about, that's funny. We segued into this now, very herbal. I get nettles and we get a little bit of nettle and a little bit of a blackberry leaf on this one. And underneath there's a little chocolate tone coming through. Definitely a black plum. Dark cherries on the nose. I like the nose on this one, not as much spice as the first one, which I think the oak certainly brought out that spiciness. Let's see what we get on the palate. Spice on the back of this one. Really plush, big fruit up front, but then it just balances out nicely. You get that big attack of fruit. I'm getting plum, dark cherry. Sweeter tannins on this one. The acidity is nicely integrated with the wine. And it finishes dry. This is bone dry on the finish, but fruit up front. So very interesting wine. I talk about aging wine quite a bit. This has a lot of characteristics that tell me it will age well. Nice balance of fruit, acid, and tannins. The tannins are a little softer on this one because it doesn't have the heavy oak treatment that the first one had. At least not heavy new oak. This has some oak on it. Trust me, it does. It gets a little grippy on the backside. Again, this baby needs food. Merlot is such a food-friendly wine. It really is. I would have this with a steak. I'd have this with a roasted chicken. Because it's not so heavy in the tannin department, this would go well with those things. Pizza, burgers, any of that. Blue cheeseburger. This would be perfect. Good balance on the line. Finish is fresh and dry. Initial attack up front is solid fruit, plums, blackberries, cherries. And then that kind of slides across the palate into a drier style finish. All right. Both solid wines. Trust me. Both very good. And as I mentioned before, the first one just had a little bit more oak on it than I like it. I spilled. Yikes. So here we go. Merlot versus California, episode 3. In second place, one that I thought the oak just was too strong on the finish. I think it would have balanced out with food, of course. I realize that. So I'm giving it a B+, which is a really good grade. And it is the Long Shadows Pedestal Merlot 2017 Columbia Valley. So this rolls in at a whopping $70. There you go. Doesn't surprise me. This is one of Michel Rolland's wines. He works with Gilles Nicole in making this wine, and I know he likes his oak. I actually went to Long Shadows and saw him. He was fermenting Merlot in brand new French oak barrels. He was doing the fermentation in French oak barrels. I don't know if this one has that, but the oak is very dominant on this wine. B plus is a great grade. I think this one will age as well. I think there's enough fruit up front to eventually, congeal with the oak, and you will have a nice wine in another 5 to 10 years. But it's a B plus wine to me, especially at $70. I mean, yeah. In first place with an A minus. I was impressed with this one quite a bit. I like the herbal notes on the front, the nettles and blackberry leaf on this front, and then I thought it had a nice balance. Oh, this is now I'm not familiar with this one at all. The 2000 and, where's that vintage on this? 2018 Peugeot Napa Valley Merlot rolls in at $43. Now guys, $70.43, I think, I hate to use that term, but no brainer. This is definitely where I would go and purchasing a Merlot right now, and I think this one is also very age worthy. So there you go. 2018 was a vintage on the pedestal. It was 2017. 17 was not the same vintage as 18. I mean, this is California. I think all the way across the West Coast, 2018 was a good vintage. 17, they're really starting to come alive. Like I said, just the oak on that one. Damn it. California beat out Washington straight up in this one. And stay tuned for the next episode. I'll be able to reveal where the standing is in these. It's kind of fun, isn't it? You like these? I'm enjoying the comments. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I like to respond to them. And I hope to remember to give a shout out to some of the new subscribers. I'm at 496. So tell your friends about it. It'd be fun to hit 500. I'm stoked to hit 500. That would be so cool. Thank you guys for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.